All right. Captain's log, stardate 48127.05. Things have been quiet on my first command so far. As per Starfleet's new plan to modernize the fleet, the Navajo is currently in dry dock to receive those new nacelle upgrades that'll keep us from damaging subspace when traveling at high warp. Most of the crew's been on shore leave while we're here, and the engineers down below have been happy as clams doing their work. I've been ordered to report to Admiral Leyton's office for a private meeting, however. I haven't been informed as to the purpose of the meeting just yet, but I suppose I'll find out soon.
All right. Before we head over tours to do the meeting, is there anything anybody wishes to do, like roleplay wise?
I'm good, though I would not describe my situation as being happy as a clam.
Uh, this is true. She did say most, not all.
Yes.
Uh, all right. We'll start with Captain Knox. Heading over to where Admiral Leyton has taken up office at, well, at least on Earth Spacedock for temporary reasons.
Okay.
I'm assuming you chime the door, or
Yeah, absolutely.
enter.
Uh, switch door opens. Admiral Leyton, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Captain. Please have a seat.
Let her over. I have to admit, I've been curious as to the purpose of this meeting since your adjutant uh, told me about it.
Yes, unfortunately, wanted to keep things on the download for this one. Don't
Sounds
worry,
like that.
won't affect your ship by any means. I've
I'm
asked you
still
here.
all ears, sir.
Uh, I've asked you here because a promising cadet, um, Alicia Thomason, she's gone missing. She has a bright career ahead of herself, and well, given everything going on around here lately, it's unusual for a cadet to go missing like this suddenly. I'd like you to conduct a private investigation. The, well, to say the dean of the academy is calling in a favor with me.
Very interesting. Uh, What was the cadet doing when they went missing?
Oh, that's what I'd like you to find out.
They weren't on some sort of
No,
cadet cruise or shuttle test?
they're here on Earth.
All right. I have to admit, I'm curious, Admiral. May I ask why me? Surely the Academy has their own MPs, their own officers that usually round up AWOL cadets that might just be on a bender somewhere in Tokyo.
I need someone outside the Academy systems and Earth security to look into this.
Even more intriguing, sir. So surely that means there's something special going on with this Cadet Thomason. Care to fill me in?
Well, I don't have anything concrete. That's why you're here.
Why the secrecy, Admiral?
No secrecy, Captain. I tend to uncover any secrecies that are going on here. If there is any. I would have my own men do this. Unfortunately, they're too busy heightening security measurements around Earth and Earth Spacedock due to the enlightened threat of maybe the potential Dominion and want to be changeling infiltrators.
All right. So you need me and my men to discreetly, without or outside of the Academy's purview, look into an otherwise unassuming cadet and find out where they are without knowing where their last location was, sir.
Their last location was Academy grounds.
Hmm. When did we lose track of them?
24 hours ago.
All right. Well, I suppose I'm at your disposal. Is there anything else you can offer me in terms of information, sir?
I am in the dark as you are.
Do you know the cadet's race and
Human.
or species and gender?
Human, female.
I assume you might transfer her personnel file to my ship, or
You'll be handed her personnel file. Well, you'll have access to it.
hmm, very well. All right then, sir. I suppose if there's nothing else,
No, there is nothing else. You're dismissed, Captain.
she will stand up, give a polite nod, then head off while reading the file on her datapad.
It's just the usual cadet. Her name is Acting Ensign Thomason. Of course. I gotta. I will type this out in Discord for you.
Could I make some sort of insight roll on the admiral? Maybe.
You are
Um,
telepath, so um,
I don't want to read his minds without permission.
well,
But I do think I
you
detect
would
surface emotions
you get
automatically, no
surface
matter what. Though.
emotions and some surface thoughts. His thoughts are primarily the concern and safety of. His thoughts are morely aligned with a security measure. He wants to know if there. You get the sense that he is deeply determined to root out any sort of conspiracy or potential threats that might be brewing at the academy.
Interesting. Okay. So he definitely seems worried that there's some sort of threat connected to this Thomason.
He believes so. Whether or not there is, that remains to be seen.
Fair enough.
On the datapad, it's pretty much just routine stuff. It just shows her grades. She is somewhat of a prodigy when it comes to sort of theoretical physics and alike.
Hmm.
Um, high rem- um, high remarks from her professors, but that's really about it on the pad.
Okay. I'll I'll make my way back to the Navajo.
Where to on the Navajo? Are you going to?
Uh, my ready room?
We'll have the theater to mind that for a minute. I don't have a map for that yet.
Okay. Ooh. We do have a map for the theater of the mind, though, which I appreciate. Um, do I narratively have a first officer or a security officer? Or
Um, let's just say your first officer is disimposed somewhere, not on Earth.
wonderful. Okay. Um, sure. I guess I'll call the players to the ready room. I'll especially ask if Commander Solok is free, since I know he's probably the most busy officer on the ship right now.
Yes, Captain, I can make time to meet it, of course.
Excellent.
Captain, based on engineering's estimates, I anticipate 22.95 hours until we are completed with the second nacelle for our vessel.
If my memory serves, that's an improvement, Commander.
Well, we do endeavor to improve with every new adjustment that we make to the ship, sir.
As I've seen. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
The reason I called you all here is that I'm sure word has gone around about this morning's meeting between myself and Admiral Leyton. And it appears that we, but not necessarily the Navajo, have a small task assigned to us. And I think you are the officers that would be best suited to carry it out.
Does this task involve the refit of the vessel, sir?
It does not, Commander Solon. It apparently involves the fate of one wayward cadet from Starfleet Academy. And with that, she will kind of give Sarah Vogel a bit of a look, being our,
Oh,
I
Vogel
believe,
is still attending the academy. She's not graduated just yet.
okay. So she is not part of the crew complement of the Navajo.
Not at this time.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, we have a wayward cadet to find, gentlemen. Um, her name is Acting Ensign Eliza Thomason, and apparently she was quite the prodigy when it came to uh, theoretical physics or something, which I think you might be able to glean some insight on, Lieutenant Jorvin.
Perhaps a little bit.
Is it looking
Well-
a little?
I can certainly try. Will we bring anyone from the security department with us?
GM, do we have anyone from the security department? GM?
I'll say you could, if you give you could do like a presence command to muster up around, like a security detail team, which essentially would act as like an advantage. So that would be like a presence command difficulty 2.
But we don't have a security officer.
Correct. Yeah.
My intent, or my hope, Lieutenant Jorvin, is to keep the circle of officers involved with this as small as possible. The Admiral has advised discretion in carrying out this task. I believe he is worried that there might be something, well, shall we say, something very concerning going on in Starfleet Academy.
Captain, am I to understand that I am to stop working on the refit of the nacelles in order for us to find the location of this one Starfleet ensign? Or cadet, excuse me.
Commander, are your crews unable to function without you?
They are able to function perfectly well without me. It just seems rather illogical to pull us away, for Starfleet to pull us away to look for this particular individual. It would suggest that there is more going on than meets the eye.
I believe that is the case exactly, Commander. From what I can glean from the Admiral, it seems that the refitting of the Navajo is, temporarily at least, a secondary priority. We can spare a day or two's delay, but the fate of this cadet, especially if she's in danger, would warrant our best minds on this case.
Very interesting.
Well, I suppose that'll put an end to shore leave, and I was looking forward to enjoying the sunsets on Earth.
Oh, we may yet get to enjoy Earth's fresh air, and hopefully there isn't too many complications when it comes to this cadet, but we'll have to see.
Do we have information about the cadet's last known whereabouts?
Academy grounds.
Then logically that should be the first place that we look. Interviewing people that saw her last, and if there's any information from Starfleet Security or at the Academy as to where she would normally go, who she would normally associate with, or who she would normally associate with.
I agree completely. I think we should look into her circle of friends and associates and see if we can glean any insights from them. And Lieutenant Jorvin, considering her field of expertise, perhaps if you could come up with any theories as to why some sort of unknown entity might be interested in her, especially in today's political climate, perhaps. That might be useful information as well.
Well, that's reasonable, Lieutenant. But at the moment, I don't have anywhere near enough information to make that kind of leap of logic. It just wouldn't be logical.
Fortunately, this is what we've been provided, gentlemen. I think our first steps is to head down to the academy and see what else we can find and piece together things from there.
Captain, you will be leading this personally?
Yes, I will, Commander. Certainly seems like a more useful task of my time than sitting here leering over your engineer's shoulders.
Very well, Captain.
GM, is there anything on the pad that does suggest um, friends, colleagues, professors who are particularly interested in her, like leads in regards to who we can talk to?
Give me insight command or insight con. Go.
Okay. I'll present that question to Lieutenant Jorvin and Commander Solok if either of them would like to assist. Because basically this is the only thing we've been this single data pad is all we have, so
I can assist.
And while they're doing that, Jorvin is going to access the Academy's files and download her course schedule and her transcript.
so inside con, was it?
Yeah, or insight command. Either or
Right.
will work for that role.
So I'll assist
Routine
with the
banner?
roll.
Yeah, you
With
can.
team then?
Team. I feel like more like this is more of like a research type deal.
Yep. Sounds good.
Would you accept computers as a focus?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
May we know the difficulty?
Oh, difficulty is going to be 1.
Okay.
So far, you gain a momentum. There'll be 2 momentum gained. Her course her current course schedule. She works. She's mostly finished with most of her courses. She does have one with. Sorry, going through my notes here. Professor Seltz. She actually helps him as sort of like a teacher's aide from time to time. But he teaches essentially advanced warp field dynamics at the academy, along with several other engineering courses.
Okay.
Is that
An
advanced
aspiring
warfield?
engineer.
I'm sorry, you both spoke at once. What did you guys say?
Oh, I just said out loud. Solak said, "Oh, an inspiring engineer. Interesting."
Is that advanced field dynamics class the one that she's in?
Currently, yes. As for your role, like the data just comes in, so uh, it's about the same as what the captain got. So I won't make you roll for it. But her
Uh,
last reported location, according to records, was on the academy grounds.
do we have like an exact spot? Is that how like specific it is, or just a
It's
general? She
based
was at
on like the com badge. Like the com badge had her. It listed that she was at the academy's ground, and her com badge is no longer broadcasting.
Interesting. Well, gentlemen, I think that this professor should be our first person we can interview, and perhaps the spot on the grounds is worth at least one tricorder scan.
Agreed.
Should we stay together, or do we think perhaps Lieutenant Jorvin, would you like to scan the grounds while Commander Solok and I meet this professor?
Well, that would be up to you, Captain.
Considering the subject this professor uh, teaches, it might be good to have you present with us to interpret anything else that might go over the commander and I. I do believe, however, we should be discreet in our investigation here. Perhaps until we learn more, at least, we can simply operate on the pretense that we are interested in recruiting the cadet for our crew, and so we are looking into her. Does that sound agreeable with everyone?
You want us to lie, is what you are saying.
At least as far as yourself, Commander, perhaps a simple omission of the truth will do.
An omission of data is acceptable.
Lieutenant, your thoughts?
I'm curious. Is there some reason why we can't be upfront about what we're doing, Captain?
The Admiral was a bit reticent to offer information, but I did glean an impression from him that he thinks that there is something going on with this ensign that made it so going through proper channels wasn't wise. So if he wasn't going to involve the regular Academy security staff on this, I don't think it would be prudent for us to go around simply announcing that the cadet is missing, and apparently 3 high-ranking space duty officers are looking for her.
Thus the need for subterfuge.
Indeed.
Logical. It is also logical to deduce that the Admiral may have some prior relationship or knowledge of this individual that they are wanting to potentially keep discreet. But that is, of course, a supposition.
And until we learn anything concrete, I'd prefer to keep our own intentions played close to the chest.
Close to the chest.
Hidden, Commander.
Ah, yes. I'm sorry, I was unfamiliar with that phrase, sir.
She looks again at Lieutenant Jordan. Does he seem to have more concern?
No, sir.
All right. Then, Commander, brief your engineering crews that for any duties they might need to be carrying out, and I'll meet you down in Transporter Room 1 in 15.
Acknowledged.
Yes,
Salak stands up and goes to engineering.
Jorvan goes back to his quarters. And grabs, changes into off-duty type clothing.
While in engineering, Salak taps his comm badge and contacts the captain and says, "Captain,
Knox here.
this is a question. Should we be conducting this investigation in uniform or out of uniform?"
Fair question, Commander. GM, can I make a roll for this, or like to gain insight on the situation, or
That is an RP thing you wish to do. If you want to do it, you can. If you don't,
okay.
I'm not going to make it a roll. So
Um, let's stick to our uniforms, Commander. Especially since we're operating under the pretense that we want to recruit this cadet. I don't see a reason why we should hide our Starfleet affiliation.
Understood, Captain. I will meet you in the transporter room shortly. While in engineering, Salak lays out what the next few tasks need to happen to the rest of the subordinates under him while he is away, and he puts them down in precise detail as to how long each and every task should take, despite the fact that he is not physically present in engineering.
give me a presence command difficulty 2.
Two. Would you accept repairs and maintenance as a focus?
No.
System maintenance or diagnostics?
See, those are related to performing the task.
Yeah.
If you're assisting someone, then yeah.
Okay.
This is more like making sure that they get the message that we need to follow these the orders here.
I'd like to buy a die with momentum. And I'll use. Would you allow me to use cautious engineering here?
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Well, it's presence command.
Yeah.
So cautious engineering will not apply.
Okay.
Hey, you make it.
Yay.
You're pretty confident that your engineering teams will get the message, even though they are working with now they are working with the station engineering crews. So whether or not they get the hit, is another thing.
I head then to the transporter room. I take along with me my tricorder. I don't know if we necessarily need a weapon, but yeah, my tricorder will suffice.
I'm assuming everyone's bringing like a tricorder with them.
Yeah, scientific tricorder. No weapon, kind of like the Vulcans.
All right, you meet
Ready.
up.
Sorry, go ahead.
Is there supposed to be a background here? Because all I got is a black screen.
That's all you see is a. Did it not? That's because your token's not there.
I was able to see engineering.
That's weird.
Changelings. Changelings and engineering.
Well, I could try that. See it now?
And you? And let me refresh.
Any case, the three of you arrive in the transporter room.
All right.
Jorvan is out of uniform. I don't know if anyone says anything to him.
Does not seem like the captain is particularly concerned. She just
That is
gives him a
an-
nod and smile.
That is an interesting selection of wardrobe there, Lieutenant.
Oh, thank you. I try to do my best. It's kind of hard to color coordinate, though.
Salak goes over and looks at the transporter coordinates and looks back at the captain and says, "Coordinates have been laid in for us to beam down to the Academy grounds, Captain."
Knox would have idly offered some small talk and insight about color coordination before Commander Solok gets her attention again. Excellent, Commander. All right, everyone, let's go.
I'm not gonna make a roll for this, so one thing you guys do need to work on is probably down the road is work on making support characters.
So no Star Trek the Motion Picture transporter accident.
Yeah, it's a you see the cost type deal. So
Ooh, pretty.
the three of you beam down into the courtyard where you see several cadets, either walking to class or like to the different lecture halls or down through more long lines to the academy grounds. But yeah.
This was her last known location. Was this location right here, Captain?
Was it?
Give me insight command difficulty 1.
Okay.
The answer to that question is yes.
Yes, it was, Commander.
So Salak sort of looks around and says, quite literally here, a very visible location. Multiple people could see her if she disappeared.
Indeed, it was. She disappeared 24 hours ago, so it would have been broad daylight in the middle of classes.
It would suggest if she disappeared from this location that she potentially beamed to somewhere else, especially if her comm badge is not physically here or was not recovered from here.
Since we're already here, would we like to take a look around? Maybe make a few scans?
Yes, that would be logical.
Jorvan's going to scan the area for, well, actually, that'd be all transporter residue be all over this place. He's actually just going to look around for the comm badge, see if just in case it happened to have been shut off and left here.
I'll assist Lieutenant Jordan.
Give me a control security difficulty 2. Cadet Vogel, what are you doing?
Apparently, I'm talking with my fellow cadet here, enjoying the break until the next classes.
I'm going to spend a momentum. That's next to my worst stat.
Good shit.
What was the difficulty on that?
2.
Okay.
You gain a momentum.
Huh?
You start searching the academy grounds, and as you're doing so, like you're kind of weeding through, some of the grass area, kind of messing with the flowers a little bit. And one of the cats goes, Oopsie's gonna be mad at you if you keep doing that.
Won't be the first time he's mad at me for something.
Okay. And they kind of walk off. Unfortunately, as you kind of start searching, you can't seem to find where if a combat was thrown or is sort of either any disturbance in the ground where it could have been buried or anything like that.
How long ago does the file say the comm badge stopped broadcasting?
24 hours.
All right, Jordan will best he can find the exact spot the comm badge was when it stopped broadcasting and scan for 24-hour-old transporter residue.
I'll assist you with that, if that's okay.
Get to the roll in a minute. I'm going to go over to Vogel. Kim asks, he's like, ugh. Well, have you gotten your posting yet?
Not yet. I'm still waiting on my assignment. I still have to pass my final flight test. How about you? Did you get an assignment?
Yeah, signed to the USS Voyager.
Voyager, that's that new Intrepid, right?
Yeah. Be departing soon as I graduate here, so.
It's a mighty nice ship. I'd love to fly something like that. I mean, bioneural circuitries. Just think of the response time.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie. Anyhow, what are those? That's unusual. You see that?
They look to be trying to find something. Wonder what's so important that they'd have a captain looking in our courtyard.
Not sure. Maybe we could see if we can't help them out.
time's the next class?
We got 30 minutes. Plus, I'm not, I already know the teacher doesn't like me in the flight school anyway.
I mean, it can't hurt to ask. I mean, maybe they're lost.
Sure, let's see if we can assist him real quick.
For some reason, I can't move my token.
You can make sure you have the select tokens on the left-hand side under the token control. And then just drag. Or you can use the arrow keys when you have the token selected. You have the measurement tool selected currently.
It's the little box thing. Yeah, it's not letting me grab it. I don't know if I have permission for this, because even when I click on the sheet, it's not giving me the option to roll.
Oh, did you go on as player?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does that. I'll fix it real quick. There.
There we go. Excuse me, Captain. Do you need assistance? Maybe help looking for something?
Oh, not at all, cadets. Sorry, I know we're causing quite a scene, but our transporter chief reported some sort of discrepancy when we beamed in, and we're just trying to see if we can find some readings to help him calibrate our transporter pad.
Understood, Captain.
Does anyone, out of character, does anyone remember the name of the professor?
No, I don't remember the name of the professor. Sorry. I've actually been writing stuff down, and that's the one thing I didn't write down.
Yeah, what's the name of the professor? Sites. One thing you could help us with, Ensign, Cadet, is we were here to meet with the Professor Sites. Could you point us towards his class?
He runs, his classes were brutal. Yeah. He kind of points in the general direction. Oh, I'm, Ensign Harry Kim. Pleasure to meet you, Captain.
Pleasure as well, Ensign.
Yeah, I believe he's in Building B, second floor, 238, if I'm not mistaken.
Solok walks up to the captain, and this is sort of quietly to the captain and says, "Captain, would it not make logical sense to potentially ask these individuals if they know of the individual in question?"
It would, if we had no other leads.
So you would recommend now we would not do such a thing?
Asking about Ensign Thomason at this point would only start rumors circulating throughout the academy, quite contrary to putting our intentions close to the chest, Commander.
Ah, this is the close to the chest comment that you made earlier. I understand. Of course, sir.
Um, Yeah, Azuria is good to proceed from here. She's just waiting on the results of that tricorder scan. Unless you want me to roll like some sort of telepathy to somehow see if Ensign Kim or Vogel knew Thompson.
Reason engineering difficult too. And GM, may I assist him with the roll?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
I will spend momentum for a third die. We can take sensor operations as a focus. It's kind of like tricorders are kind of sensor adjacent.
No, this is more like it's gonna be a transporters or replicators type role.
Fair enough.
The only transporter residue you pick up is that of your own. Though you do notice, like as your transporter rolls, you do notice that there is essentially a terminal or a common transporter pad type deal. Like someone walks in, punches in the coordinates, and they get beamed to a location. Which are kind of common on Earth now, so
True. Jordan will address the captains. Captain, I don't find what I'm looking for here.
Unfortunate, but let's hope the professor has more for us to go on. All right, this way then, according to the. Thank you again for your help, both of you.
As we walk away, have we drawn the attention of anyone other than idle curiosity of what these people, like concerned, or more than just the idle curiosity of, what are those three? What's that captain and the Vulcan and the Anar and out of uniform looking for? Is there? It's like we've drawn the attention of someone concerned about us looking in that area.
give me an insight security difficulty 2.
Sure, take the last momentum.
You're definitely confident that you have you definitely get the feeling that there's a lot of people watching you that your cover might be blown.
We should probably move on, Captain. I think our purpose here has been discovered.
That's the case then.
And I follow along with the captain and with the lieutenant.
As the three of you leave towards the area, I'm gonna. Kim looks at you, Vogel, goes, "That's peculiar."
Yeah, but I suppose they're here for a reason. But come on, Ensign Kim. We have to get the stellar cartography.
Okay, Ensign Vogel. And I guess the two of you head to class.
While we're walking to the professor's place in the academy, I turn to the lieutenant and Jorvin, and I say, Lieutenant, I have a question to ask you, if I may.
Yes. Is the engineer, or what rank is the engineer?
Lieutenant Commander.
Yes, Commander.
I noticed that when we were speaking in the transporter room, you were talking about color coordination for your wardrobe.
Yes.
It is my understanding that Anar are blind. How is it that you were able to do color coordination for your wardrobe despite this?
Luck.
Luck. As in, you randomly select whatever clothing you have and you hope that it will be coordinated in a colorful pattern that is appealing to others.
Exactly. I tend to pick clothing. Well, at least my optic clothing based on fabric and feel.
I see. The tactile feeling is what you are coordinating rather than the visual color of the clothing.
Yes, it's more comfortable for me.
Ah, interesting. Comfort being one thing, but actually quite logical.
Personally, I think the replicator records note that I tend to get clothing all in the same color, but sometimes variety. I'm told that's part of it.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing your insight.
You're welcome.
As I said earlier as well, Lieutenant, you could always ask the computer to offer some assistance. Of an artificial nature, of course, but could be helpful.
Yes, Captain, but I try to figure these things out on my own. You don't always have a computer around to help you with things like that.
Very true. But there is, of course, Ensign Meeks down in the science department. I think she has a particularly sharp sense of fashion. I'm sure she'd be willing to help if you asked her.
Oh, that's good to know. Most of the time with my shipmates, I assume we're all wearing the same blue, same colored uniform.
Well, the Navajo's extended period of shore leave have let me get a little bit of a glimpse at everyone's tastes. But it was just a thought, Lieutenant.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll keep that in mind.
As you enter the lecture hall, you notice the professor talking with the student, and she begins to walk away, and then behind you, heading into the hall.
Really quick emotion check, if I can, with my empathy.
Uh, Concerned, saddened, upset.
Hmm. Okay, we'll approach. Good afternoon, Professor. I don't know if we're catching you at a bad time.
GM, because this is a professor of advanced warp field dynamics, would I know who this individual is, and did I take his class when I was at the academy?
When did you graduate?
Probably 15 years ago.
Probably not.
Okay.
Sorry, I had a phone call. But he goes, Captain, Commander, how can I help you?
I know this might be a little bit unexpected, Professor, but we were hoping to drop in when we weren't busy. We had a few questions about a certain student of yours.
I don't know how much help I can be, but ask away.
I believe her name would be, she'll pretend to check her notes, uh, a acting ensign Eliza Thomason. I just heard that she was quite the prodigy when it came to the sciences and uh, cards on the table. I might be interested in taking a closer look at her for joining my crew.
Oh, well. She, uh, she is quite the gifted engineer, one of my best students. I do let her help with grading papers from time to time on some of my lesser classes to help lessen my workload. Unfortunately, I don't know where she's at currently. Have you looked into the girls' dorm? Usually, that's where she resides.
We haven't yet. We were simply hoping maybe you could uh, offer us your own opinion of her first. We wanted to see if her records reflected her actual performance. But if she works that closely with you, I assume you trust her quite a bit.
Well, she's a hard worker. Um, though she is a little, you know, well, all gifted minds they have a little. Individuals have a little bit of, should say, quirkiness to them.
Quirkiness, you say?
A
Does it get
little,
that a bit
just
eccentric?
a little, bad habits sometimes.
Oh,
It's mainly it's the she loses. Well, she forgets what time it is. She's been known to be late a few times in my class, just because
that isn't
she indulges herself in her work too much sometimes.
not the worst problem to have.
Where was the last place that you saw uh, Cadet Thomason, Commander?
Oh, yesterday
Was it here in the lecture hall?
it was indeed.
And did she seem in a particular state at that time? I believe, I guess the word would be happy, sad, engaged.
Was she being her forgetful self at that time as well?
Yes, I believe the term used was quirky.
Well,
Hmm.
she was her usual self, if that's what you're asking.
So quirky, as in she seemed preoccupied. Is that what you're
Yes.
telling us?
Yeah. I do believe sometimes. Well, she usually always worked on little side projects here and there. Um, Sometimes during my class, though I didn't mind so much afterwards, getting to know the fact that she, well, She does have quite astute mind.
The cadet certainly seems like quite the busybody. Do you know if any other professors took special interest in her? Perhaps she was also excelling in their classes as well.
Not that I'm aware of, but I believe she did sometimes spend time in the library.
Hmm.
How would you evaluate her as a student, Commander?
Just like all my, uh, she'll make a fine officer someday if that's what you're inquiring.
But she does not stand out. She's not exceptional.
Oh, she is exceptional. Perhaps one day she'll teach here at the academy, replacing me.
It seems that would you say that her interest is in advanced warp field dynamics?
One of those.
Does she have any other interests that you're aware of?
I wouldn't pry into her, personal life.
I'm speaking specifically of her potential career in Starfleet, Commander.
Well, she does love dabbling in theoretical physics.
Interesting.
On the topic of warp field dynamics, especially she looks at Commander Sola, especially since we've been on our vessel has been undergoing our own little upgrades to our nacelles. I'm wondering, has the cadet had any particularly, how do you say, groundbreaking insights into how these things work? Has she impressed you in any specific way? Maybe offering any wild ideas, any innovations in the field?
None that have already been proven to be, well, dangerous.
These side projects that you mentioned earlier, do you happen to know the specifics of any of them?
You would have to ask her.
Very well, then. You said we should check on the girls' dormitory.
Well, that's where she does reside at.
And she sometimes spends time at the library as well. Any other locations that you can recommend that we would check to see if we could find her?
Well, I believe all the cadets like going to some of the local, bars nearby. Unless you wish to take the transporter, I know there's some of the cadets, there's a popular place in France that they like to go to. If you excuse me, I have work that needs to be done.
Of course, Professor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Professor.
Hey, GM.
Yes.
As they're talking and bring up her name and those things tend to bring up mental images. Are any of the professors' mental images of this cadet of an inappropriate nature?
No.
Could I get a general feel of his surface emotions? Did he seem nervous? Surprised that we were asking about her?
Annoyed.
Annoyed. Fair enough. Once he's gone, I'll turn to everyone. He didn't seem to be hiding anything. Just seems like we were interrupting his work or his day.
What was your read on the student who left earlier, Captain?
It seemed like she just received a bit of bad news.
Interesting.
Do you think she might be connected, Commander?
She's connected in some way. She's a student here of the same professor that our missing person is a student of. So, yes, I would say that she is connected, though loosely at this point.
Mhm.
It would seem logical to go and check her dorm room to see if there's any clues there as to where her current whereabouts are. And it would be logical to interview any other additional associates or friends that she has. Fortunately, we don't seem to have a list of anyone that she is friends with, other than this professor, who I would not count as a friend.
Indeed. I'm also concerned about digging through her personal possessions might draw quite a bit more attention than we already drew in the Academy grounds. We'll have to hope we can carry such an action out clandestinely.
That would be very interesting.
It would be difficult to explain what we were doing in the women's dormitory.
3 Starfleet officers walking into her dormitory room, rummaging around her belongings. That would pose an interesting explanation.
Certainly.
Jorgen checks the file again. Does she have a roommate?
Oh, GM left a bit for a bit.
Determining who her friends are would be the next course of action, Captain. Who does she
I
know, and
agree.
who could give us some additional insight into where her current whereabouts are? She seems to have knowledge and understanding of warp field dynamics. So, as I said earlier, potentially aspiring engineer. The professor did mention that she could teach here one day, so she is someone who apparently has some interest in teaching. This allows us to create some kind of profile of what are her interests, who would she associate with, etc.
And that's why I brought you along, Commander.
It is rather curious that Starfleet is asking us to do this. It would be logical to involve Starfleet security because even they could do something even more clandestine than we can. Us wandering around here in the Starfleet Academy, that will draw attention.
Well, we could just have the Navajo transport us straight into her dorm room as long as she doesn't have a roommate. Who would know?
I'm speaking more generally than just us going through her belongings in her room. Us walking around and asking questions of her will certainly make its way through the ranks of students. And potentially that in and of itself could bring people forward to speak with us.
Is that the course of action you recommend?
It's a course
Shake
of
the tree,
action.
as you will, and see what falls out.
Shaking a tree. Why should shaking a tree have anything to do with finding this individual?
Azuria smiles as if she intentionally did that just to get a reaction out of Solo. Never mind, Commander. Um, are you recommending that we purposefully draw attention to ourselves and hope that someone useful comes forward?
It's a possibility, Captain. It's not so much intentionally drawing attention to ourselves, but the very fact that we are asking questions, those questions will eventually circulate amongst the student body and potentially motivate people. Oh, wait. I think I now got your reference. By shaking the tree, fruit will fall from the tree as in a metaphor for a student coming forward. Is that what you
Okay,
intended?
it is a very
Ah,
logical conclusion you've drawn, Commander.
interesting. I was not familiar with that Earth phrase. That said, it is one course of action that we could take. The other one is the action that we're currently engaged in right now in order to not draw attention to ourselves, which, in my estimation, is a futile attempt. We have already drawn attention to ourselves, as the lieutenant has accurately surmised.
I'm inclined to agree.
We could start with the individuals that we met earlier in the courtyard, the two ensigns who approached you.
Lieutenant, your thought?
Seems kind of random. Now that the GM's back, GM will look at the file again. Does she have a roommate?
Yes. Lucille Gonzalez.
That was literally, oh my god. But we didn't know her name.
That captain says there's Lucille Gonzalez. That's her roommate. Maybe we could ask her.
That would be
That was
logical.
her. Let's go see if we can catch up to her.
I'm gonna theater mind this. Are you here, Vogel?
I'm on mobile if you need.
As you're about to enter your astro navigation, essentially, course, you see one of your fellow students, Lucia. She she's kind of like crying.
I will go over to her and say, "Hey, Lucille, what's wrong?"
My roommate, she's still missing. She hasn't come home. Well, hasn't come to the room since the night before. I'm really worried about her.
Did you report her missing?
Yeah, to the security, they said, well, they'll said she's probably somewhere on Earth, and they'll check around. This is a big planet, and no one's doing anything. This stuff doesn't happen here.
I'll look at Ensign Kim and be like, I wonder if that's what that captain was looking for.
Maybe. I mean, it is suspicious that they're just here. And around this time, the rest of you show up.
Oh. Um, Apologies, Ensign. Excuse us. We wanted to have a word.
Um,
Are you quite all right?
Yes, ma'am. Everything's fine. How can I help you? She stands at attention.
As you were. She'll go ahead. She'll just do a quick surface emotion again.
Even though she says everything's fine, everything's not fine. Like she's
Yes, but
emotional wreck inside.
I assume Azuri doesn't pick up any impression that Kim or Vogel are hiding something, that they're nervous that she's reappeared.
Kim is just curious as to why you're here.
Mhm.
Kind of.
We'll go the same.
So Azuri will say, as you were, and then she'll glance back at Solok and Jorvan, kind of take a steadying breath and go, Ensign Gonzalez, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
We we actually wanted to ask you a few questions about your roommate, Ensign Thomason.
Of course.
Are you comfortable speaking to her with these other two cadets present, or would you like to speak in private?
We can speak here.
Good to know. We've been informed that Ensign Thomason has gone missing as of 24 hours ago. And we were looking into her whereabouts.
Yes, I was the one who reported her missing. She didn't
It was
return
you.
last night. Sometimes she, I guess, works late. She's always having like these encrypted data pads with her all the time. She won't tell me what it's about though, and just something doesn't feel right. She's always she's incredibly smart, but um, she's easily led at times by others.
I can certainly understand why you're worried, Ensign, but we'll do whatever we can to help find her. Do you know what or who she was being led by? We know she worked closely with Commander Stites. Was there anything else might have been involved with, or people she worked closely with?
She did studies at the library, but um, I I never knew where she went to after classes. All I know is she was just working on something.
Did she happen to leave any of these encrypted data pads in her dorm?
No, she has them with her all the time, um, and takes it to with her all her classes. Sometimes she even works on them when she's at class.
Hmm. You two, she looks past Gonzalez. Do either of you know Ensign Thomason well?
She was always way ahead of all of our classes. Yeah, seemed to be always the smartest one in the room. Never really hung out with her outside of class or assignments, though.
I always got the impression she was the teacher's pet half the time.
So who did she hang out with? She had intimate partner, boyfriend, girlfriend.
The sea goes, no, not that I'm aware of. Kim's like, oh, she turned me down like last year, so if that says anything.
Solok steps forward and says to Gonzalez, "Where was the last time that you saw Cadet Thomason?"
Think in my astro navigation course.
I think that was the last time I saw her too.
And that course was yesterday, correct?
Sure.
Well, yeah, the second part is about to start here soon, says Kim.
Solak says to Gonzalez, how would you evaluate, or what would you say her relationship was with Professor Seitz? I heard Ensign Kim there, or Cadet Kim there, refer to her as a teacher's pet. This would imply that there was potential favoritism showed to her.
I know she helped him with some of his coursework, but that wasn't um, for the more advanced classes. It was uh, for the first and second year courses that
He
he
helped.
teaches.
So
She she helps him out.
she helps the professor with his coursework.
Well, with grading papers, like a teacher's assistant. Sort of, she says she's doing it for extra credit.
Is there anything about her prior to yesterday that you noticed that was unusual in her behavior?
She seemed nervous about something.
Do you know what?
She wouldn't talk about it. She was very on edge the past couple weeks, actually, now that I think about it.
Did she give you any indication of where she might be or a place that she might go?
She goes to the library a lot, that's all I know. Sometimes she says she's at the library, I can't even find her at the library.
Interesting. Are there any other individuals that you could point us to that may have some insight as to her current whereabouts?
She didn't make a lot of friends here, I know that. She just she kept to herself a lot.
Would you describe her as a friend?
Yeah, I would. We've been roommates since first year, so
We noticed you earlier, Cadet, as you were leaving the lecture hall before we spoke to Professor Seitz. You seemed distressed about something. Are you willing to share with us what you were distressed about?
You don't have to disclose it if it's unrelated, Vincent.
I I made some allegations to him. I felt like
Uh,
he was doing something to her, but
To Cadet Thomason.
yes.
What were these allegations, if I may ask?
I'd rather not say, sir.
I look at the
Ensign,
captain. I look at the captain and I raise one of my eyebrows.
Ensign, the more we know, the higher chance we have of finding Thomason. You can certainly trust us, I assure you of that. All we want to do is find her.
I felt Commander Seitz was, well, Professor Seitz uh, was doing in a, well, using Ensign Thomason.
Using her. In what way?
I think we get the picture, Ensign. Do you have any evidence that would have caused you to come to this conclusion?
No,
Anything solid?
just no, just the way she's been acting.
Hmm. How has she been acting? Commander Seitz told us She was just a hard-working student in his presence.
He described her as quirky.
That too.
Well, she can be quirky. Usually, when she gets on an idea, she keeps running with it. Like, she can't let go of it. But that's just her. Nothing nefarious about it. But lately, she's been nervous about something, and she's been pushing me away, well, yeah, just, I guess, me away. She doesn't really socialize with anybody else.
I hesitate to ask this, Ensign, but have you checked any of her belongings in your dorm room since she's disappeared?
There's nothing out of the ordinary there.
Nothing to suggest where her current location is.
No. Like I said, for the past several months, though, she's she's been spending a lot of time at the library, and
But you yourself said you've sometimes gone to the library and not seen her there, even though she said that she was going there, correct?
correct, which is why I feel like there's something between her and the professor.
I look at Solak looks at Vogel and Kim and says, "Any insights from the two of you on this subject?"
Just kind of shocked to hear all this.
Ensign Kim or Cadet Kim.
It's news to me, sir.
Captain, I would recommend that we have a follow-up conversation with the professor based on this information.
Maybe, but honestly, I didn't sense anything inappropriate coming from him when we were talking to him.
He might not
Did you,
see
Captain?
the interaction as inappropriate.
I was trying to be indirect, Commander.
I see.
I think another confrontation is warranted, but I don't want to do so just yet until we have something concrete to present him with.
Maybe we should go to the library.
I would agree. A part of me also wants to see if we can gain access to the Academy's security footage. See if we can trace her movements yesterday, as well as in the library for the past few weeks.
We could also look at the footage in the sense that if she disappeared from that courtyard exactly 24 hours ago, the footage would, in theory, show where she disappeared to.
It would certainly give us some answers.
I would be willing to look at the security footage, Captain, if you and the lieutenant want to go to the library.
The problem is convincing the Academy's staff to allow you access to this footage, Commander. Cadets,
believe-
you...
No,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead,
No,
Captain.
please. Cadets, do you have any insight in how the Academy staff works with this? Is there an officer in charge, or perhaps... And I hope you get my meaning. Do any of you know any subtle ways of gaining access to these systems?
Not that I'm aware of, says Kim.
I would think, Captain, that someone of your rank would be much more likely to get cooperation from Academy security than me and the commander here.
I was hoping not to have to resort to pulling rank and throwing my weight around, but if there's no other choice. Commander, what were you about to say?
I
Before I
was
cut
going
you
to
off?
say that if that's the case, then it would make logical sense for you to go look at the security footage while the lieutenant and I go to the library.
Very well then, let's do that.
Thank you for your time, ensigns. Good luck with your courses.
If there's anything else I could be assistance, just, you know where to find me. Says Lucia.
Yes. Salak just sort of nods and says, yes.
Thank you again, Nancy.
And Salak will head off in the direction of the library.
Jerun will follow him since he's the ranking officer. Well, if the captain, assuming the captain splits off and goes her own way.
Yes.
I am not confident that we will find additional information at the library, Lieutenant.
You might be right, Commander, but I mean, everyone we talk to says she spent a lot of time at the library.
Yes,
So it makes sense for us to go there and at least look.
oh, I agree completely. It is logical to go to the library considering it has been a location that others have pointed to. But as Cadet Gonzalez said, our person in question, would often say that she was going to the library, only not to go to the library.
True, but the library might have access. Librarians might have a record of volumes that she checked out, or um,
Yes,
might even scan cadets' comm badges as they go in and out of the library. Might be able to verify whether or not she's actually been there.
yes. Her interests in her research are what interest me. These projects on these encrypted pads. Very curious.
Perhaps, but without knowing what she was actually researching, just knowing that she has encrypted pads is not very useful.
True. But I hope to get more insight into what she is researching as we gather more information from the library. It might not necessarily tell us where she is, but it will give us insight into who she is.
Well, if we find common theme in the material she checks out or accesses, one could give us a hint as to what she's looking at on these data pads.
Very logical, Lieutenant. I commend you.
Oh, thank you, Commander. It's high praise coming from a Vulcan such as yourself.
And we mosey on over to the library.
I'm assuming the captain is heading to the Academy security station.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And what is Vogel doing?
Uh, no idea. How did the end of that captain conversation end?
We threatened you and said if we ever see you again, it'll be. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
It went. We said thank you for your help.
so yeah, I'll just take it after they leave and be like, so they were looking for something.
Lucia is very concerned about her roommate. So you kind of you do know Thomason to a degree. It's whether or not you wish to conduct your own investigation.
Yeah, so I'll just turn. So after the captain and all that stuff leaves, I'll just turn to the other. I'll just turn to Kim and be like, so they were looking for something.
Appears so. I didn't know she was missing, says Kim. Do you really think they can find her? Says Lucia.
I mean, would they? I mean, they wouldn't be looking for her if somebody thought that they couldn't find them. You sure that you didn't see her? Like maybe she went off to finish one of her projects.
If anything, I wouldn't say she's punctual, but she does come back to the room every night. And she doesn't miss class. Maybe she's late, but she never misses class.
Do you know where she does these experiments or whatever at?
She says she goes to the library. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. Kim, because
It's not like a secret compartment or secret stock room, is there?
Kim kind of eyes perks up a little bit. A hidden room in the library. Well, that's.
I mean, come on, you guys spend more time there than me. You must know. Or at least heard rumors.
I haven't heard any rumors about that. Though it is curious that Captain, an ANR, and a Vulcan are looking into this.
Sounds like the beginning to a bad joke.
Yeah, and it's at Ensign Thomason's expense. She is one of us. Maybe we should look into this.
Has anyone tried pinging her GOM badge?
Lucia's like, I did several times. It's not broadcasting. It's offline somewhere.
I guess that takes care of my second question. Where does the computer say she's at?
Maybe we could hack the security surveillance. Come on, Kim. You're a good engineer, aren't you? Whoa.
Yeah, Mr. USS Voyager, show us some of those skills.
Oh, sure. Just not get expelled, okay? I'm assuming we're skipping class, right?
What are you worried about? You already passed. You already have your assignment.
Yeah, but they could still boot me off of Starfleet, you know?
Come on, you worry too much.
All right, so the three of you are going to the security office. Captain's going to near the security office. And then the two are headed to the library. Let's do the library scene first. All right, Solok and Jorvin, you head towards the grounds of the library. You see several Academy students.
And I guess we walk up into the library, and I'm wanting to check the records in the library for what volumes the cadet checked out and read over the past, let's say, month.
Give me Insight Con difficulty 1.
Insight Con. Don't think I have any focuses unless you take computers.
No.
I can attempt to assist.
It's difficulty 1. Yeah, it's up to you. This is I'm interacting with a computer, right? In order to look up this information, correct?
Yes.
I do have a neural interface, which allows me to interface with computers and similar technology because I have a cybernetic implant.
Just gives you a roll, free
Like
reroll.
re-roll. Yeah, allows me to re-roll the D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. So I'll do these two. Got focus, insight, and con. And I can re-roll 1, right?
Yes.
So I'll re-roll 1. One success. And you wanted to assist me?
Was that difficult? What was the difficulty?
He made the difficulty so far, but
Yeah, I made it.
I can make an attempt at getting us some
See if we
momentum.
can get some momentum. Yeah.
Will research count as a focus?
yes. Nope. As you go through.
Sorry, real quick, GM. I'm sorry. If I could just say, when you see me do my link that I have, it's almost as if I touch the panel, Jorvin, as if I'm doing a mind meld with the computer. It's not quite the same thing, but I touch the panel and it connects me to the machine. Sorry, GM.
It's quite all right. As you're going through the library access and looking at what she's accessed, she's accessed a restricted section within the library's databanks, and looked into the file is labeled as Project Icarus.
Interesting.
What would a cadet be doing looking at restricted files?
Icarus. If I recall, this is from human mythology. The child of a famous inventor named Daedalus. Icarus was given a set of wings made by Daedalus, but flew too close to the sun, and the wings melted, and Icarus fell to their death. An interesting mythological tale. I wonder what the connotation is with this restricted file. GM, am I able to open the file?
No, you do not. You lack the security clearance to do so.
Interesting.
Commander, honestly, I got to start wondering about wherever these orders came from. This is starting to look like the captain was either the captain is holding back on us, or someone is holding back on the captain on some things that we need to know.
I find it very doubtful that the captain would be holding out information from us. What would a Starfleet cadet be doing with security access to a file called Project Icarus, a secure file that not even I can get access to? Any other insights that we can glean from her research, GM?
The only information I'll give you, because you get the minimum success, you don't have momentum.
Mhm.
Mainly, we're looking at essentially warp theory, um, you know, engine compliance, stuff like that.
Okay. Lieutenant, I believe we have two options here available to us. One, we could attempt to bypass the security to get access to this file, which would be most likely quite difficult. Or we take our information back to the captain and see if the captain is able to get access to this Project Icarus file.
Both of those sound reasonable. Out of curiosity, Commander, did you request access to the file when it came up?
I did not, but I get the sense that requesting access to this file would cause undue attention. I believe the captain wanted us to be discreet in our findings, and this has certainly opened up, I believe the term is, a new can of worms.
What's a worm?
It is a human animal that it's not really required that I get into the details of it. Essentially, the dynamics of this investigation have changed.
Well, I think before we go trying to break into classified files, we should probably run that by the captain first,
Agreed.
or we do it ourselves and give her plausible deniability. But I don't know anything about breaking into secure files. Do you?
No, I do not. So I think the most logical way is to go and talk to the captain about this.
Hey, did you see if the system logs cadets in and out as they come in and out of the library?
No, I did not check that. And I would like to check that, GM. Basically, when was the last time the cadet entered this facility?
Inside security, difficulty 1.
Site and security. Same as before, I'll use my neural interface.
Oh, and ask it how often she comes. See if you can get a pattern of when she shows up.
I think I got it. I just got 2 successes, so I got some momentum.
Gain of momentum. She last accessed the file 2 days ago. And it seems like she comes here. She's regular, so like at least once a day or every other day. Lately, she's been here more often than previous months as you go down.
Supposition, Lieutenant. These encrypted pads that she has, they're very possibly connected to this Project Icarus. That would explain why they are encrypted. It would also explain why she is always working, it seems, at the library. Not so much with her studies, but with this particular project, whatever it is.
Well, that makes sense. Hey, hold fast here for a minute, Commander. I'm going to try something real quick.
Yes.
And Jordan's going to go to the librarian's desk.
You go up to the librarian's desk. The librarian looks up to you. She's like, can I help you?
Yes. And then Jordan will kind of look around like he's a little nervous. I was supposed to meet a girl here. Supposed to tutor me in warp dynamics for Professional Siegel's Slice's class, but I forgot where she told me to meet her. You don't happen to know Ensign Thomason, do you? Where she might normally hang out in the library?
Give me Presence Command difficulty 2 and complication range 2.
Okay, I will spend that one peaceful momentum on a third die.
Oh,
So I let on the 19. Uh,
dang.
gain a momentum. Well, I haven't seen Ensign Thompson since yesterday morning. But she usually hangs over in the study area. I don't believe we've met.
Oh, I don't normally come to the library. Name's Jorvan.
You're not a student here.
I used to be.
Yes, clearly. Several years, in fact.
Do I look that old already?
I do see a couple of wrinkles. Don't worry, they help distinguish your face.
Oh, thank you for that. No, I just got assigned to a new ship, and the captain's got this project with the warp nacelles, and Thomason was supposed to help me. What's the human phrase? Bone up on my warp dynamics.
I see. I have not seen her all day. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you for your help. You're very nice. And then Jorvan will wander back to the commander.
Any insights gleaned?
The librarian says she was here yesterday morning. She normally spends time in the study area. I don't know if we want to. I don't know what we would check it for, but I thought it would be interesting to find out.
It goes along with the theory that we have that she spends an awful lot of time here working on this Project Icarus. I do think we have enough information to go back to the captain. The next logical step is to try to gain access to this file so that we can determine what Project Icarus is. I believe that will lead us to where her location is right now.
Maybe should I go up to the study area and just ask around for her just to complete the subterfuge I started?
I don't see any reason why not.
All right, I'll be right back, Commander. Jorvan will make his way to the study area and ask around to see if anyone's seen her, and kind of pay attention telepathically to see if there are any spikes of concern or worry related to him asking.
You get a lot of very curious as to why you're asking for her. Like, they all seem like they're pretty, like, that's odd. Type deal.
If anyone asks, he'll use the same cover story, that she's helping him with his work involved with work dynamics.
And that just spikes their curiosity even more.
But as long as it's curiosity and not concern or curiosity in the realm of they're on to us kind of concern.
Okay. Get over to the captain. Captain, you're heading towards the security office. One thing I will ask, Vogel, are you wanting to be sneaky?
I think that's a given.
Then roll control security. You're setting the difficulty. So. But Kim will, assist. Somehow.
All right. Take a threat just because it's fun.
Goody. No one's giving me threat yet this game. It's my first threat in a year.
Would you take composure?
No.
Okay.
Hey, 3 successes. Okay, Captain. You're heading to the security office. You can give me insight security if you want. Difficulty 3.
Espionage focus.
Certainly.
I'll take that one. That's it. No, I'll give you a threat. I'll give you a threat too.
Okay. Yay, 2 threats. Look at yay! It's so exciting.
Ah.
You succeed, there is a complication. You definitely noticed them, but with the complication, the cadets noticed that you noticed them as they kind of got close to your position.
But we both notice each other.
Essentially, yes.
Hello again, cadets.
Oh, Captain, hello.
It's funny, I didn't know. I was under the impression your next classes would be in the other building.
We're just doing some field study, right?
Oh, I'm sure that you are. Field, some sort of field operation very close to the security office. Look, Ensigns, there's no need to hide anything. Honestly, I'm impressed. I thought the Academy had gotten much more uptight since my days back here. You guys are heading to the security office to try and glean something from their records, I assume.
Just trying to be helpful in locating our classmate, sir.
It's admirable. She gives a look to Ensign Kim. You said you didn't know anything about hacking into the Academy footage.
I haven't tried it yet.
Well, as it would happen, I may know a thing or two about just that. Why don't we team up? Don't worry, Ensign. Like I said, like I told Gonzalez, all I'm here to do is find your friend. Any other means we employ to accomplish that goal? Well, that's between you and your professors. Nothing that involves me. What do you say?
Sounds like we've been drafted.
Now, why don't you all show me where exactly you were heading off to?
Well, I was hoping for a distraction while I try to pull the security footage from yesterday. Um, you wouldn't happen to know where she went missing, right?
She went missing in the courtyard where you met us, in fact. That particular spot we were scanning.
That makes sense now. Yeah, I think I could maybe get the footage from there. I think.
Is there a specific panel or
No, not
LCARs that
any,
you need to access?
just one that's nearby. Should be able to get it. I think I
Then
can
by
do
all
this.
means, send some lead on.
And the four of you approach the security office. Academy security walks up. Can I assist you with something? Have these cadets done anything wrong, Captain?
Not at all. I was actually hoping to speak to. Out of character. I'm so sorry. I thought he just needed an LCARS that was like in the hallway or something.
Yeah, but there's a Academy security
Ah.
walking out.
Oh no. Okay, got it. Oh, not at all, officer. I was simply speaking to these cadets about uh some of their subjects.
Of course. Carry
Is
on.
there something we can help you with, officer?
No, not that I can think of, unless there's anything you need to report.
Not to my knowledge.
And he walks off. And Kim just sighs like he's sweating, like, like, whew, and then walks up to the panel.
Breathe, Ensign. You're still alive.
Is any one of you guys assisting Kim?
Oh,
I'm decent enough with the computers. I could do it.
are you only allowing one assist?
Um, it's one free assist, and then with 2E rolls, you have to spend a momentum for additional assist. Since I'm trying to use some of the 2E rules here, essentially, when you assist a player, only one assist is allowed. If you want more than one assist, you have to spend a momentum um, for another player to assist.
Uh, can we know the difficulty?
The role is going to be either it's going to be control plus security or engineering difficulty 3 to pull up the security footage.
Well, Vogel think I'd definitely assist. I'd either like Kim to spend the momentum for himself for an extra die, or I'll spend the momentum to assist him as well.
Yeah, I got 14s in this, so I could probably assist, and then yeah, just use the momentum for extra dice for Kim.
Okay.
Ooh.
No momentum gain. But Kim manages to get to past the security, pulls up the footage. I think this is the correct time. And you see Ensign Thomason. And wonder if I could. Yeah, I could do this. I'm gonna drop this on. Nope, that's gonna be huge on the thing. You see her in the courtyard. She kind of stops where you lost your signal at for a minute. She takes off her comm badge. Looks like she presses something on the back of it, puts it back on her chest, and walks towards the transporter terminals. Just past the courtyard.
Okay, there's outdoor terminals there.
Yep.
Cool.
And she's seen beaming away somewhere.
Ooh. Well, one piece of good news we can glean from this is that we know wherever she went, she did so willingly.
Yeah, but where would she go to?
I think that's the next thing you should try finding out. This is very helpful information, Ensign Kim. Why don't we go rejoin the rest of my crew?
Yes, sir. I'm assuming at some point, all of you meet back up in the courtyard.
Sure. Sure, that makes sense.
It's kind of in between the library and security, anyway.
Solok says, Captain, we were able to find some information about the type of research that Ensign Thomason was conducting right before she disappeared.
Very good. I, on the other hand, happened to find these three cadets wandering around near the security office.
Indeed.
Yep.
Interesting.
We discovered a small tidbit of information as well, but what research was Thomason conducting, Commander?
I tell the captain about the file that we found that is highly classified as Project Icarus, and that I do not have a security clearance file, but that apparently a Starfleet cadet does have access to such a file. would indicate that there's more to this than meets the eye.
That certainly lines up a little bit with what we found. Ensign Kim managed to get the security footage from the courtyard yesterday. We saw the ensign purposefully turn off her comm badge and then transport herself to locations unknown.
It is interesting the name of the project, Captain, Icarus. According to Earth myth, Icarus was a legendary figure who flew too close to the sun, and as a result of that was punished by the gods. We do know that the cadet has some interest in warp field dynamics. I suggest a connection of, or at least some hint as to what Project Icarus actually is. But apparently apparently the cadet spent a great deal of her time on this project.
Don't mind me.
Don't mind me. Good job, Harry.
Well, Commander, if we have a timestamp from security of when she transported, I makes sense to me that the transport. You check the transporter records. There can't be more than one person at that exact time who transported without an active comm badge.
That
Might
is
be able to find out
true.
where she went.
That is true, unless what she clicked on her comm badge prior to transport somehow wiped that signal or blocked it.
Wouldn't that
I
have
think it's
alerted
worth a
security?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Wouldn't that have alerted security, though, Commander?
It is certainly possible, but we do know that this cadet is involved in some sort of highly classified project. It
which
is not illogical.
suggests
It is not illogical to assume that she has other advantages as well.
I would certainly be willing to give her the benefit of the doubt that she knows what she's doing.
Yes.
But I
Captain,
think it's
the
still
other
worth a look, Lieutenant. Why don't we go ahead and access that transporter pad, see if we can glean anything from it, but do operate on the assumption that she is trying to hide her tracks.
I can
So
assist the lieutenant as well, since I have expertise in transporter technology.
Perhaps maybe I should be the one assisting you then, Commander.
Very well then. Captain, the other angle that we could potentially pursue is gaining access to this Project Icarus file. We did not attempt to request access for it because of your previous suggestion at discretion, but it might be worth trying to gain access to this through some channel, perhaps the admiral.
perhaps I certainly am interested in getting to the bottom of whatever's going on. Let's check this transporter first, and
Agreed.
then find out from there.
So Solak goes towards the transporter pad to look at the log.
Give me a reason plus engineering difficulty 3. And I'm going to spend 2 threat to make this a complication range of 2.
Yes. Difficulty 3. I do have a focus with transporters. I'm just looking at something very, very quickly here. Please excuse me. I didn't do it. I didn't do an engineering. Did I do an engineering task earlier in this adventure? I don't think I did. Did I do an engineering role earlier?
Not that I
I don't think I
recall.
did. I don't think I did. Okay, so testing a theory doesn't apply here.
Yeah, it wouldn't apply. It wouldn't apply anyway because it's not the.
Yeah, it's not the ship.
Well, it's not a. It has to be in the same task vein. So, like, when you attempt a task using engineering science, gain additional 20 from testing a theory.
Yeah. 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 Would my neural interface apply here?
Yes, it would apply.
I'm hesitant to give you more threat. So I'm going to roll 2 die, and I'm going to use my neural interface with a focus. Reason and engineer.
It is difficulty 3.
Yeah, it's difficult. All right, I will give you threat for 1 die.
Was there someone assisting?
Yeah, I did say I was going to assist. Now I'm afraid to, but since I said I would do it, I'm going to.
Don't be afraid.
Gain 2 momentum. Looking through the transporter logs, as you gain access to it, and now to essentially alert security, you find that Ensign Thomason transported to an abandoned orbital research facility in orbit around Earth.
Interesting.
The transporter logs are essentially she override the transporter or had a security code to allow her to beam there. Typically, no one can access that station.
So an abandoned orbital research facility orbiting Earth, right?
Correct.
So it looks like we know where we need to go, Commander.
Would be good to know what this abandoned facility used to be used for. So I walk back and inform the captain of what it is that we found. Apparently an abandoned orbital research facility, Captain.
Very suspicious. Very interesting. Very exciting.
But potentially very dangerous.
Hence the excitement, Commander. I think our next step is to...
Excitement for danger. Very interesting.
I think our next step should be return to the ship, gentlemen. See if we can get a scan of this facility and also see what we can glean from this Project Icarus so we know a little bit more about what we're stepping into.
Starfleet records might also give us some indication of what this abandoned orbital facility was once used for.
Hopefully so.
At any rate, my guess is that it'd be best if we're gonna go there, we should probably use the ship's transporters rather than the Academy's.
That would be a logical and correct assumption, yes.
Ensigns. Most of my crew is currently on shore leave, so I'm a bit short-handed. I don't suppose you three are willing to get, since we're so fond of quoting old Earth, saying press ganged temporarily to the Navajo.
If you require your assistance, Captain, I'm willing to offer it. But do we have to take the transporters?
To the abandoned facility? Is that what you're asking? Or to the ship?
Well, do we have to take them anywhere, Captain?
You have something against the use of transporters, Cadet?
I just prefer the feel of a shuttle.
A rather antiquated and quite old-fashioned way of moving from land up into space, wouldn't you say?
I wouldn't put it like that.
Unfortunately, Ensign, it isn't entirely practical for us to take a shuttle to the ship. We don't have one on hand, and just requisitioning you three is going to have me explaining quite a bit to the dean of the academy.
If you have concern for your safety, it should be noted that there is a 7.563% less chance of you receiving harm through our ship's transporters than it would be for you to go from a shuttle to the ship.
That's Vulcan logic for you right there, Ensign.
And of course, the numbers are accurate.
I mean, if it's necessary, but I mean, the shuttles are right over there.
Yes, but none of them are assigned to the Navajo. We didn't bring any of our shuttles with us. Surely
Unless
you
one-
passed all your courses on Starfleet Protocol, Cadet.
Unless one of you already has access to one of these shuttles, I am not intending to steal one anytime soon.
Understood, Captain.
You don't have to come along with us, Cadet Vogel. But we could use your help in finding your friend if you are willing.
Just don't let me know it's about to happen, okay?
Of course. Come along. Why don't you, Commander Solok, come up to the transporter room where the ensigns and I can't hear you.
Out of curiosity, since I mentioned the Anar and the Beta Z cannot help it, what are the mental images going through Vogel's head as she's thinking about the transporters?
Complete and utter terror. It's surface thoughts, right?
Yeah, service thoughts and images.
And images? I'll just send you it then.
I'm imagining this.
Are we ready to beam up, Captain?
We are, Commander.
I tap my comm badge and I contact the Navajo and say, Navajo, 6 to beam up.
I mean, I don't have the transporter sound effect. I gotta upload it. I have the old one.
That works.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
And as soon as Vogel materializes, she starts feeling herself all over, making sure all her fingers are there. She's kind of hyperventilating a little bit.
So Locke senses this, and as he steps off the transporter pad, he says, I can assure you, Cadet, that all of your body parts and functions are normal as if you flew up here in a shuttlecraft. He comes over here and he looks at the transporter keypad.
Materialization was 100%. So. No foul play for the GM. Is the Navajo a Galaxy class? No. Impressive ship, Captain. Gonzalez is kind of excited, but also still like the back of her mind, she's still very concerned for her friend.
Knox will smile. She's a bit amused to hear the ensigns talking about the ship, but she doesn't correct them in any way.
Solok heard, I can't remember who said it, but someone asked what the class of the ship is. And Solok says the Navajo is a Nebula class starship.
Gonzalez just nods.
That's still rather large, so let's get started up to the bridge. We have a ways to go.
The door is not displayed if you're going to the door. Conference.
Right to the wall.
You headed to the conference room?
More like the bridge, I'd say. We just want to scan the warehouse and look into Project Icarus. Okay?
There were 3 courses of action. One was scanning the orbital research facility. The second was potentially gaining access to the Project Icarus file. And the third was looking through Starfleet records to see if there's any background information on what this abandoned orbital research facility used to do. Captain, I can conduct the research on the abandoned orbital facility's prior usage.
Very well. Lieutenant, why don't you get the primary scanner up and running and see if you can glean anything from the warehouse currently as it is. I'm going to see if I can find out what I can about Project Icarus. Ensigns, go ahead and pick an office. I'm not fully aware of what your specialties are, so help out how you can.
I can assist the lieutenant. All right. Who's doing what first?
I guess I'll go first.
Okay. What are you researching?
I am researching the orbital research facility and what it used to be utilized for.
This will be a reason plus make this engineering difficulty 2. And
I'll
the ship will assist using the ship with computers engineering.
Okay. I'll use my neural interface. You said difficulty 2 with assistance from the ship. I don't know if I have a focus unless you accept computers.
No.
Okay. I'll just roll 2. I'll keep the momentum with us just in case we need it. And I'll re-roll 1.
Just need the ship assist.
Ship assist. Find the ship. And I think did you say it was engineering and what? Sorry?
Computers.
Computers engineering.
Gain a momentum.
Thank you.
One second, I'm going to send you something in Discord.
No problem. I'm just now seeing Knox's GIF. Very good. GIF. GM, when is our game scheduled to end this evening?
We are close to the end. We
Okay.
can call it here soon if you want to press for time.
I'm good to go for the next 15-20 minutes. I was asking.
I probably may want to call it after the research thing, and then we'll pick up it next week.
That's good.
And what was Jorvin doing?
Jorvin is seeing if he can scan that research station.
This will be reason. Reason plus engineering. Difficulty 2.
Will you take science since I'm scanning?
Depends on what you're scanning for. So if you're scanning like just the structure and everything of the research facility, it's gonna be engineering. If you're scanning for life forms, I'll take like science or medical.
I'm more or less scanning to see what's there.
Then I'll take science then if it's just a generic scan.
Yeah, because it doesn't know enough about what's there to be looking for anything specific. Sensor operations is a focus, yes.
Yeah.
And then I will spend a momentum for a third die. You said difficulty 2, yes?
Yes. This is by the Navajo sensors science.
I'm going to chance it and go ahead and re-roll the one fail. Cautious science.
It's 5. Just need the ship. So far, you gained 3 momentum.
Great rolls.
Gain 4, so you have a float. Generically, the station does have life support. Currently, you're detecting 5 life forms on board the station. It does not seem to be power. It seems to be operating on minimal power.
Okay. Since I'm a science officer, I get under 2E. Do I still get a free question as a science officer? The life science. There the accompanying number of active comm badges.
You don't detect any active comm badges.
Okay, give me a sec so I can think on that. What I want to do with the float. What I want to ask with the float. Um, did the generic scan reveal any power sources beyond the usual for a station of its size?
It's currently underpowered, but considering the station is supposed to be abandoned, there is more power usage than it should be. Like for the station size, like it's not operating on minimal power. It's supposed to be operating on minimal power, but it's somewhere between full power and minimal power. If that makes sense.
It does. And since we're captain, it probably won't hurt us. I'll spend one more momentum for obtaining information, unless well, you tell me if I need to spend it for it. Are all five yeah, are all five life signs in the same space in the same spot in the station, same general area?
It's unclear, as if the station is somehow shielded. But that is a momentum spend.
Right.
Okay. That's all I can think of at this time. We'll report that back to the captain.
Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to see if I can learn about Project Icarus.
That's going to be a reason plus security or engineering difficulty 3.
Um,
I'm assuming you're going through uh like that's assuming you're not trying to um gain attention to yourself, that you're looking into pulling the file and accessing it.
may I actually, am I welcome to invoke some backstory stuff, honestly? May I use my old Starfleet intelligence connections or maybe reach out to an old acquaintance from Starfleet Intelligence? Ask them for some help on the DL. Or
You can
if
certainly
you'd like, I
try.
can stick to.
You can certainly try.
Okay. What roles would you like for that?
Are you just contacting them?
Sure.
I mean, how are you trying to go through the connections? So that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, if I'm welcome to. If not, I'm happy to just roll and just try and do research myself.
If you're going through them, did you have a name? I'm trying to remember.
Cyrus Spencer. Agent Cyrus Spencer. But we don't have to do this if it's...
No,
if
it's fine. You managed to get a hold of him. Is there no long? It's been a while. What can I help you with?
Far too long. Far too long, Cyrus. I'm afraid I'm calling a bit more for business rather than pleasure. I was wondering if intelligence might be willing to do me a favor, a little bit off the record. I trust you're still well connected, Cyrus?
For the most part, yes.
Oh, being modest, that's why I always like you. I'm looking into a certain project called Project Icarus. I don't suppose it's passed through your desk anytime recently?
May I ask why you're looking into Project Icarus?
A certain a certain crew member of mine has gone missing, and after a little bit of digging through their history, it seems like they were mixed up in some of whatever this project is, without the knowledge of anyone close to her or who knew her. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
All I can tell you is Project Icarus was abandoned. It was based on some research. It was an engineer, Koniski, back in less than a decade ago, 2364. Working on new propulsion techniques that would essentially double the speed of any starship. Let's just say that research left several potholes in space.
I see. Uh, Not too far from that, your human legend about Icarus, whoever that is.
Yes.
Is that why it was shut down?
Yes, that's why it was shut down.
Well, purely hypothetical, of course. If someone did want to reactivate it, who would you speculate that might be?
Someone part of the project?
I don't suppose you could pass me any of these old, outdated files from this completely irrelevant, abandoned project, Cyrus?
Kuniski was the head of it. He worked closely with, according to records, a Lieutenant Commander Seitz.
Interesting. All right. Now, Cyrus, I hope I don't have to twist your arm. I do consider you're a friend, but is there any other information that you could offer?
Stay away from this.
Why?
There's some pretty big heads attached to this one.
You actually think it might be dangerous?
I think
I
it's
mean,
dangerous for the people who are circling around Project Icarus.
and my crewmen, do you think they might be in danger? Physical, I mean, not just in terms of career.
Potentially. It's unclear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Cyrus. I know I can count on you. I'll stay away, like you said. And if there's any favor you need from me, I certainly owe you one that.
I may take you up on that offer someday.
Well, I look forward to it. Be careful out there, Cyrus.
You as well.
Okay. Uh, when everyone meets up again, is there any ways we can reveal that science is still very much connected?
If there's any more is there any more research anyone wishes to do, or
I'd like to see if I can do a more focused scan to see if I can scan the 5 life signs and
I
compare them to
the
the genetic.
momentum? Just give me an inside science roll, difficulty 1. Gain a momentum. You realize that you're not able to really, you wouldn't be able to get a more in-depth life science yet, because there's protective shielding around the station, that's essentially scattering, preventing people from beaming off the station. Essentially, transporter inhibitors are, kind of in place.
Captain,
Yes, Lieutenant.
I've scanned the station. It's running on more power than it should be for an abandoned station, but it's also got in essence, has transporter inhibitors. Um, there are 5 people aboard, but I can't tell you any more than there are 5 people aboard. And I recommend if we go over there, we shouldn't use the transporters because we won't be able to get back.
And Captain, the facility dates back to the 2250s. Starfleet once used it as a propulsion lab over the years, but it was shut down in 2321. It has remained in orbit with small upkeep ever since.
That lines up with what I've discovered of Project Icarus.
Oh,
It was some sort of propulsion project, or some sort of project looking into making some sort of new propulsion. It was shut down when apparently there were a few accidents.
interesting. That would
It was
explain
headed,
why a Starfleet cadet with an interest in warp field dynamics would be in.
not just a cadet, but it appears Commander Steins himself was one of the top researchers involved.
Indeed. It seems to come back to the professor once again.
Before we organize any sort of plan to shuttle over there and investigate personally, I think it's time to report back to the Admiral and deal with what we found.
Agreed.
From what I've looked into the project, I don't believe Admiral Leyton himself might have any ulterior or malicious motives regarding this, so I want to keep him in the loop.
Understood.
I'm good with that, GM. Nothing else really need to do at least, if you want to kind of hear.
Well, if you're just going to report to Admiral Leyton, we can go there. and handle that real quick before we close out.
Did anyone else want to do something though? Maybe Vogel or Bourbon?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I'll head to my ready room and try and call the admiral's office.
You contact the admiral. The admiral get him on the viewer. So, how goes your investigation, Captain?
Quite well, Admiral. I've read a number of things to report, very interesting bits of information. I assume this line is secure, sir?
Taps it's on a panel. It is now.
It appears that our dear Cadet Thomason was involved in, or is involved in something called Project Icarus, a old propulsion research project that was apparently shut down several years ago, but is now back up and running in a clandestine fashion. It was headed by someone named Kaminsky and assisted by Commander Steintz, who happens to be Thomason's professor in the Academy. Currently, we've tracked her whereabouts to an abandoned research facility right here in Earth's orbit, sir. I've scanned the location from the Navajo. It appears that there's 5 individuals on board that station, and their transporter inhibitors currently blocking access.
And do you believe that this ensign Thomason is a willing participant in Project Icarus?
I can't say with 100% certainty, sir, but I think the evidence leans towards yes, she is assisting them out of her own volition.
And you're certain she's on board this abandoned research station?
The last movement we tracked of her was her beaming up from the Academy grounds to this station. It's unlikely she would have left without getting noticed by anyone else on Earth since then.
And who else knows about all this?
My 2 officers, my chief engineer and chief science officer, but we've also come across 3 cooperative ensigns in the academy itself, sir. One of them is her own roommate, who's been very worried about her whereabouts, and 2 others who seem likewise interested in recovering the cadet safely.
Understood. Well, thank you for doing this, Captain, especially in such record time. We'll take it from here. I'll send over a security team to arrest
Sir,
anyone involved in this.
Sir, I would like to remain involved in this operation, especially if you're going to be arresting the ensign as well. I'd like the chance to meet her and truly ascertain her involvement in this, whatever this is.
Well, I'll leave that up to Starfleet Intelligence, Captain. But thank you for looking into this. Your part is over. Admiral Leyton out.
We'll do a quick insight.
Sure. What insight are you looking?
Would you see? I don't know. Do I detect anything suspicious about his behavior?
More like he's irritated that something was going on behind his back that he didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
So it tends to, from what you can sense from him telepathically, he tends to deal with this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Honestly, a part of me wants to just go ahead and board the station anyway. But I don't know.
That's what I'm asking. Are you guys wanting? Based on what the admiral told you to back off, obviously. So if you wish to continue this endeavor, we will pick it up next week. If not, then we will do a separate mission, another mission.
I think that's up to you, Captain.
I don't want it to be a table decision. We're all players here, but speaking for me, I'm just. I mean,
It would be
it's weird.
curious
It's like,
to know. It would be curious to know what this project is and why the Admiral seems so quick to close it up. Then again, orders are orders.
my biggest concern is the cadet herself. I feel like Starfleet's intelligence should be competent and not kill everyone on sight, but there's always a chance of accidents. I feel like Azuria trusts her own people a bit more, especially since they were personally involved in the investigation.
You said that there were transporter inhibitors preventing transport into the station. Is that right, Lieutenant?
Those are transport off the station.
So
as far as I can tell,
off-
we could transport there. We just wouldn't be able to come back.
So your intention prior to the discussion with the Admiral, Captain, was to take a shuttlecraft over. Is that accurate?
It was.
Well, Captain, who's to say that that order that you gave wasn't given prior to your discussion with the Admiral?
Commander, that's an awfully large omission of truth that you're suggesting.
Not an omission of truth, an error.
Ooh.
I'm simply
Ensign
following
Vogel.
through with what I believe your intention is, sir, which is to engage in this ourselves, despite the orders of the Admiral.
I think you may be right, Commander. Ensign Vogel, didn't I tell you 15 minutes ago to go prep shuttle down in Shuttle Decks 2?
Apparently, Ensign Vogel's already down there.
Amazing.
Shouldn't be working.
Where am I going?
Anson, get down to shuttle deck 2 and prep a shuttle for launch.
Hydration, get your nutrition.
Hi, Captain.
If there's nothing else left, I think we can call this an end to, or at least today's session, the Wings of Icarus.
Yeah.
Nice.